Narragansett Nation called it Petaquamsket. It flows just over 6 miles from its headwaters in North Kingstown down to the ocean in Narragansett. The Narrow River, as it's become known, forms a natural border between those two towns as well as South Kingstown. Technically, it's not a river, but a tidal estuary with flows of both freshwater and saltwater. River or tidal estuary, some things are certain. While it's nearly a quarter-mile wide at its northernmost point, the Narrow River is indeed narrow. Its short distance entails an unusually diverse habitat, and there are serious questions about how best to protect the river into the future. Fortunately, the river has a lot of good friends.
It's amazing. Scientists come from all over the world to come to study here.
A marine biologist, Veronica Baranski, came here 30 years ago with her husband to work and raise a family. Today, she helps lead the nonprofit Narrow River Preservation Association. What do you feel are the biggest challenges facing the river today?
So the biggest concern in terms of water quality is stormwater. There's hills, and that first flush of stormwater can bring trash into the river.
The NRPA does its own extensive water monitoring, and while it's seen overall water quality improve, some issues are more global than local.
We've seen an increase in water temperature over time. You know, the fact that we don't get ice out here in the winter is something where we used to when we first moved here.
A lot of residents here with properties right on the river, so rising sea levels concern, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the regulations now are that the lower floor has to be a flow-through floor.
Even with the serious issues and mounting concerns, Baranski, like so many here, loves the natural beauty and recreation the river offers. She's swum the length of the river on several occasions.
I love to be in the river. I love knowing the water quality is good enough so that I'm fine swimming there as long as I want to swim there.
She also kayaks all she can, which we were happy to join in on, getting our own guided tour of the river. Deepest part of the river right here.
Yes, 20 meters deep. It's so deep that if you took the Pointooth Lighthouse and put it in here, you would disappear.
Yet it's still a small, contained place, made all the more amazing for its diversity.
There are all these different sections, like the state of Rhode Island. It's small and compact, but there's lots of really cool things in there.
Toward the southern end of the Narrow River, a salt marsh that is all about preservation, the over 500-acre John H. Chafee National Wildlife Refuge. Home to the state's largest black duck population, it's another species today, the salt marsh sparrow, whose very survival may depend in part on the efforts being taken here.
It's a really unique species. The whole worldwide population is found on the east coast of the United States, and they spend their entire life cycle in the salt marsh.
But their worldwide population is declining nearly 10% a year. But they are here still.
They are here, they're hanging
right here on the Narrow River.
They are on the Narrow River. This is a very important nesting site for them.
Alas, climate change and rising sea levels is threatening the marsh here and the sparrows. The refuge is fighting back by dredging sediment from the river and building up the marsh. All of this sand area here didn't exist before. You guys put this in.
That's right, and then the hopes is over time it'll become vegetated again, which would then in turn be nesting habitat for salt marsh sparrows and willets. Essentially it is only a band-aid with sea level rise, but we're hoping that if we can expand the life of the marsh and help some of these endangered species that occur here, it's worth it.
On the nesting trail of one of those endangered species, the salt marsh sparrow, we were not having much luck getting even a peek.
We refer to them oftentimes as the mice of the salt marsh because they'll usually fly up and then go on the ground and run through the grass. Very secretive, and their nests are very concealed.
So it's not entirely unusual that we're not having any luck seeing it, right?
No.
Okay, I feel better. All good. Better to know that the nests that are here, sight unseen, have a slightly better shot at continuing to call the Narrow River home.
So pretty, and concern for the salt marsh sparrow comes from its role as really a warning sign for other species threatened by climate change and the rising sea levels.
Right, since the 1990s, their numbers have decreased about 75%, a big number. So a lot of the work being done now at the Chaffee Refuge is being watched as a possible model for preservation in other locations.